Now we have the first book release of this festival. I will request Assavri, please come up to the stage. Assavri and Nirmal Kulkarni, her husband, they're both graduates of the Goa College of Art, and their dedication towards nature and sustainable living has helped them reach new artistic heights and a greater understanding of Goa's forest ecosystem. Assavri, where's Nirmal? Yeah, okay, hi. Assavri loves to experiment with traditional foods and clothing, is bohemian in many ways, committed to yoga, and as a professional photographer, she uses a trademark style of lighting subjects with natural light, which bring her subjects alive on screen and on paper. Her first book was a coffee table book on markets of Goa. The second was a guide on the aspect of light or lighting in photography. This is her third book. And Nirmal, who is a snake man hero, chose a career that involves living for days together in the wild, deep forest, proving that courage comes in different forms. What is remarkable is, and in India we really should honor such scientists, he has discovered new species in the Western Ghats. Any of you here who are botanists or zoologists will know what kind of effort that requires. If you want to know what conservation and sustainable living means firsthand, you have to look at the lives of Assavri and Nirmal Kulkarni. I need to call on stage Remo Fernandes. Remo. I don't need to introduce him, but I must. Remo Fernandes, Padma Shri, writer of the danceable number Maria Pitachi, the story of Maria, famously featured in the film David and Trikal, is one of Goa's best known musicians, but I think he is the best. No Goan party is without at least one of his songs, very, very danceable songs. Remo's music often incorporates the traditional Konkani, Mando, and Dulpod styles. You need to. I'm handing the mic over to Assavri. By the way, Assavri and Remo share the same birthday, 8th of May. Those of you who want to save it in your phones, please do so.
So we have one extra book. Can I find my father? Just give the release in this Vivek. Yeah, my father Vivek. If all, Kandalgaonkar.
Mr. Vivek Kandalgaonkar, please come onto the stage.
And just for the book release.
For the book release. Thank you. So here is the gentleman who is responsible for bringing up Assavri such that she loves nature and she does everything as naturally as possible. Give a big applause, a big hand to Assavri's daddy. She just had to have him over here for the book. Assavri, you need to say a few words. Okay, so this is how she's wrapped her book, because she wanted it to be as traditional as possible. And the book itself is about foods that grow in forests, tribal recipes, very basic recipes, full of nutrition, full of natural taste. And first will be the book, the launching of the book. They will open it and show it to you. And then I will hand the mic over to Assavri to say something about it. Yeah, all of you can open it. I फक्त pull करूच आहे. pull कर. सकल दो क्या? Assavri, I'm handing it over to you.
I think I and Nirmal are going to have a discussion on the book, and but it's putting photography, food, emotions, stories, and forest. Baba, you may sit, or if you want to go back, that's all. No, you have to sit. No, you sit for some time.
I only came to launch the book. I leave the husband and the wife to fight it out now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so, but the most interesting two recipes I would like to talk about is, have you heard about something called bamboo rice? Bamboo rice grows when the bamboo dies, and it happens once in 50 years. And the forest people collect those seeds and they cook it in form of rice. And this happens once in 50 years or once in 14 years. Whenever the bamboo flowers in the forest and it dies, these seeds are formed. So it's a very, very phenomenal process. And to know more about this, please go through the book. The book is available at the lawns at the Forest Corporation and Development stall. Other interesting recipe is called kaketli armi, or it's armpit mushrooms. So in ancient times, people would collect or forage mushrooms while they were traveling from one village to another, and they would have salt with them to keep the leeches away. So they would take a good edible leaf, wash the mushrooms, wrap them with little salt, put them in the armpits, and start walking to another village. And the mushrooms would get cooked in their body heat, and by the time they would reach whatever place they were going, the mushrooms would be cooked and they would just snack on it. So as simple as that, and it's called armpit mushrooms is what I have called it, but it's called kaketli armi. And this was the first recipe which I got to know from Sushma Majik, one of my forest friends. And I said, this needs to be documented. This is 15 years back I'm talking about. And that's when this book started. So, yeah. And
shall we sit?
yeah.
Good evening. Am I audible? Do you want to sit?
Why don't you also join us, Sheila?
Um,
Can I come closer?
it's as Sheila mentioned, I'm a herpetologist. I study reptiles and amphibians. That includes snakes, lizards, crocodiles, and frogs. I normally don't get called to places like this to speak, but when I do, I become a little bit comfortable. It's a nice, comfortable chair. And thank you for having me here. I've known Assavri for about 30 years, yeah. I claim to have seen her first in some Bodhgeshwar fair in Mapsa when she was about 7 or 8. The color of the dress keeps changing. Sometimes I say it's yellow, sometimes it says pink. But officially I met at the art college. One of my art college professors is here in the gathering, and I'm very happy that then she did not know that I was dating Assavri. But anyways, that's a different story. Yes, it has been an amazing journey with Assavri because I've known her as a student. We've studied together for about 5 years at the Goa College of Art and, begun a journey together. I then, also know her as a contemporary. We've actually worked together on a few projects. We did a couple of photo exhibitions together. We got married about 27 years ago. I'm bad with numbers.
This February it will be 21 years.
Yeah, 21 years together, and but so that happened, and so I've known her quite a bit of in different aspects, and with the training as a researcher, I've also known a lot of other traits about her. But this book, and I'll read the name once again for all of y'all. It's basically Forest Recipes of Goa. stories of tribal food. I've been walking the forest myself since I was 12. It's been a long journey. I haven't seen a bamboo flowering yet, which tells you my age because she's told in after how many years it's flowered. But this book actually surprised me quite a bit in many ways. It's about Assavri's understanding of the forest in a completely different way to what we do as researchers. And this probably is a question to you, Assavri, and I really want to share with us this thing. Tell me 5 things that I do not know about you and which are there in this book and the forest. And I'm counting them, as people who do a little bit of species research, we count them. So yeah, 5 things your
You
time
mean
starts.
about the book, right? Not about...
You can tell other things also, I'd be really interested. The book.
Okay.
Is the focus.
So...
I've written things down
Hi,
so that I can
Mandira.
ask her a lot of things.
So, about the book, very interestingly, because I don't come from research background, I'm a photographer, I'm an artist. For me, I started, after this book, I've started looking at every plant, whether is this edible, is it not edible? Are you okay, Nirmal?
Yeah.
So,
I'm listening.
okay. So, it's I have started looking at every plant, every root, every seed, every bark as, is it edible? Is it something that can be used? Because since I've been moving around with these forest women, they just pluck and they start munching. And I'm like, is it okay to do that? And so I've started also doing that because some things brush on upon you, right? When you live together. So working with the forest communities, the Kunbis, the Veribs, the Gaudas, the Dhangars, some things have brushed onto me. And yes, that's something that you didn't see me doing otherwise. Like, I don't look at, I just look at things as a photographer more. Second thing I would say that I've, anthill, anthill? We all know satir or anthill. I've started eating that mud now. It's edible. Do you know that? You can have a little bit of it. Like you can have a pinch of it once a week. It's good for you. It does good to you. So, if I may say, I've started eating mud. That condition is called pica, actually, in medical term. But yeah, to be short and clear, I used to eat dirty mud from the urban cities first. Now I eat the forest mud. So I can proudly say that. Third thing is this, and I would like everybody to know that when things go wrong, I cry. Even very little things go wrong and I cry. And I believe that crying is something that helps me not quit on any of my projects or in life. Crying helps, and I think it's not a thing about weakness. My family or friends, every tear that I shed over little things, they say, why are you crying? It's going to be all right. But the crying is a way of telling me I'm not going to quit. So that's one thing I do. It's not a weakness for me. Fourth thing is I cannot live without your tea.
Oh, nice.
He makes the most amazing tea. So every time I would come back from a shoot, I say, Nirmal, cha kar. So it's like something that my daughter teases me also. And you may not know, but I really, really like the tea, the way you make my tea. I just love it. And fourth thing about the book, I must say that it's you who introduced me to the forest. Otherwise, as an urban girl from Betim, I would have never ventured into forest. I would have never known what forest is. It's because of the little treks you took me from the college after we got married. The 1 month in Arunachal, in the thick forest of Arunachal, where the Bodos were there and the tribals were there. I stayed with you. I would have never done that otherwise if it wasn't you who convinced me that forest is beautiful and it's safe to be in forest. We all think that forest has got wild animals who are waiting for you to come and attack you and they're going to kill you. No, it's not. He's always made me feel safe in the forest. And for every occasion that we have, it's always the forest trip, which is like he gives me a forest trip, and that's very special to me. I think that answers most of your questions.
That's very nice. Actually, that answers my questions and actually also leads to another question from your answers. Forests of Goa, something that personally I'm very connected with, and I think a lot of people in this audience are also. Besides the fact that Goa has tigers, which I will tell everyone, I would like you to tell me about Goa's forest from your perspective.
Okay. Seriously speaking, there has been time then when I would go for the shoot and I had time and date fixed that tomorrow morning at around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock I have to leave for the trip to meet these women, because each journey would take me 2.5 hours to get to the location and then start climbing the mountains or the forest for next 3 hours sometimes, or 4 hours. I would be climbing and climbing and there had been times, I must have never told you this, but I have kissed my daughter goodbye and have gone, feeling that if I don't come back today, that it's made me feel so unsafe sometimes that I was going to places that I don't know where I was going. I was told that you have to go and meet this tribal or this woman or this man, and he's going to take you ahead from there. And there have been times where I have been alone. Of course, I had friends who came along sometimes, but that feeling that would I come back home today, would I reach back home, was not nice. It was because Nirmal always told me before going to the forest that take care of the snakes because you can get bitten. The bear attacks are very common, and if you're attacked by a bear, it's you don't survive most of the times. Tigers at least are okay. But Nirmal would warn me every time I went, ki, be careful. So my tripod was my weapon. My tripod used to weigh around 5 or 6 kgs, which I'll carry on my back and besides my camera. But yes, I have felt sometimes unsafe, but most time the women who were with me made sure that I was safe, and they made sure I ate well, I drank well. A minute they would see a snake, they would just kill it, take a stick or a stone, and I would say, no, don't do that. And the snake would be killed by the time I would say anything. Because for them, I was their guest, and they wanted to keep me safe. Goa's forests are beautiful. I mean, each one of you here must visit our forest. I'm not talking when I say forest going to Bondla or, Mollem. I'm talking about really walking the forest where you don't know where you're going. You just sit there and you listen to the sounds of cicadas, the raindrops falling, the leeches climbing onto me. Most of the times I would come back home after the shoot and there would be leeches in the places I can't even tell you, forget in my hair and all, but in places that the blood would have become into a jelly, and I would have a bath and I would be like, why am I doing this? What is the need for this? Why am I risking my life? That was a feeling sometimes. But the forest always made me feel safe, and I'm here talking with you all with my book.
So this is very interesting. And it's a good point you brought up actually, because the book also says it really nicely. We always keep forests and communities or villages and forests separate. It's in the last few years that even as researchers, are now accepting that people are part of the forests, and forests and communities are together. Your book is an amazing mirror to that, and I think documents that really well. Tell us a little bit about the communities that you met in the forest. Very short. I have quite a bit of questions.
I'm going to make it really short, but we all talk about sustainable living in Goa. We all talk about we're not going to use plastic bags, or we wear things that are more not fast fashion. But the villagers are the real people, or the forest people are real people who actually follow this without even understanding they're living a sustainable life. So I think the communities are so much more connected to the forest, to the sky, to the moon, to the sun, that they follow everything by the sun and the moon. We have to look at they know without looking at the watch what time it is. And they would say, okay, let's start walking down because it'll get dark and it's not going to be safe. So they exactly knew everything. They're so much more connected um, to the forest, to each other. You know, they are so much more tolerant towards each other, towards the animal, to the snake that ventures into their house, to the tiger roaring, to everything, because for them it's a home and it's just a little situation that they face. They say it's nothing that we make a big deal about a small snake coming into a house. For them, it's just another day and another situation that they deal with. Yes.
This is really interesting. And things keep changing. Both me and Assavri are from this generation which actually developed black and white film. Yeah. We then went on to have our own roles. We then went on to have slide roles. And from slide roles, we've actually gone on to DSLRs, and now we've got mirrorless cameras which have intelligence. It's been a long journey. And these are long-term projects. I've actually noticed that you've been taking a lot of long-term projects. Your first one, of course, is me. We've been around for almost 2.5 decades. But Markets of Goa, another book which Assavri did, she worked for about, I think, 10 plus years. Then there is, this entire collection and photographs and stuff of the Kunbi Sari, which again is partly done, and she's been doing this amazing work. And now this one, Forest Recipes, again, I think is about another 10 years. Tell me about this fascination for taking long-term documentation projects and how easy, I mean, I know it's difficult, but how do you just cope up with these long projects? I've been a witness, but I'd like to hear it through your words.
I think I like to be committed. I like long-term commitments. That's why I'm with you. It's been so many years. But I like adventure. I don't like things. I don't like to do things or wear things or say things which is already done. I like to do something which is never done before. I like to experiment. In photography, we say that it's not about the method, it's about the practice. So, I can get better at my work only if I keep practicing. And they say when the adventures keeps your brain young. And the minute you start feeling that you are done everything and you are dusted and done, that's when you start getting old, I guess. So I think new projects, new adventures, and of course, I have amazing support. I mean, when I mean support in the sense, if I have to ask for help, there's always amazing help that comes my way. And without you, I think I wouldn't have been able to do anything because you take care of Naya, you manage so many things. Of course, you don't know to drive and cook, but most of the things you manage otherwise. So it's easy for me. I've got amazing set of friends. Yes, I mean, when a thought comes in my mind about a project, I know it's going to be done because if the thought is come, then I think the final project or the book or whatever I'm trying to do, a film, documentary, it will happen by itself. I just have to work towards it. How it will be done, where it will be done, I don't think about it. I just know I have to just slog and work like a horse or a dog or a woman or whatever you say. I just have to be focused and keep doing my work, and I know I'll reach my destination some way or sometime.
So this I must admit, yeah. And, after a lot of scientific thought and even some research, I have realized that women and especially mothers have some sort of superpower, yeah. It's there. Every mother is a type of a superhuman that... we've just not been able to find how, but there is. And every mother knows how to use that superhuman skill just at the right time that she wants it to. Assavri's been doing that for a lot of time. There have been times when both of us have to do field work because, this is interesting. A lot of our work is also on the seasons. If we miss something in a particular season, whether it is the monsoons or the winters, because it's all connected to the forest, we have to wait for the next year. You can't get it back. It's irreversible. And that is something which the book talks about also. That, it is seasonal biodiversity which women know. And surprisingly, Assavri's got really amazingly informative about it, especially about its botany, something which I really admire. But as an individual, and more importantly, as someone who is, been an artist, been a photographer, now an author, also having done a film, I'd like to ask you, is there any message for photographers and writers, friends and family, for people who are doing projects like this?
Just be kind to each other. I think that's very important. Kindness takes you a long way. But I also believe there's nothing called good or bad photographer. There's a photographer who's working, who's observing, and who's tirelessly, effortlessly putting effort in taking pictures every day. And that's what it requires to be a good photographer. It's art is subjective. It's each one's, and it has a narrative that one may understand or may not understand. It's very important as an artist, as a photographer, or maybe a writer, to observe and see less and observe more. In the era of AI and scrolling, observation and being stuck to one photograph or an image for a longer time will take you a long way. I think that's what I feel I do many a times. I just look at leaves for hours sometimes, or stone, or just something that people think I'm gone crazy. I keep staring at things because I'm just looking at the light. The light behaves differently each second. That's why very importantly, if I may say, people always shout at me. Why? My father always keeps shouting, "Khoi dauta tu, khoi dauta, where are you rushing? Where are you going?" Everybody keeps shouting at me, "Where are you rushing?" But I have learned to work with the light. I work with the light. So every second the light changes. If I don't catch up with the light, it changes. It's gone. That moment is gone. You will never ever get it. So yeah, to all the people who keep saying, "Why are you rushing all the time?" It's because I have to rush. Otherwise, I will not be able to do a lot of work that I'm doing.
And I think both of us will have to rush too. But before that, I will, with your permission, read the first two paragraphs of this book. I think they sum up the book very well, and I would love to read from that. This book is a meeting of many worlds, of food and forest, people and portraiture, emotion and observation. It is both a scientific and soulful documentation of Goa's forest communities, their faith, and their intimate relationship with the ecosystem. The forest is more than a landscape. It is a living kitchen and a breathing archive of memory, history, ritual, and taste. Every leaf, flower, fruit, shoot, bark, and root carries a recipe, not only for nourishment, but for belonging. And I chose this because of the theme of course, this festival. I would now also like to
Assavri,
very quickly.
what happened? You searching for something?
Yeah. I'd also like to say one last paragraph about Assavri. And something which most of us know, but this is very nicely written. Assavri Kulkarni, born in Panji, Goa, is a visual storyteller working at the intersection of fine art, documentary, and commercial photography. With a deep engagement in food ethnography, her practice, currently shaped through a MFA, which is a Master's in Fine Art, explores memory, ritual landscape, and food as forms of cultural knowledge. This, for all of you, is Forest Recipes of Goa, Stories of Tribal Food, a photo essay by Assavri Kulkarni. Congratulations and thank you for listening to us here.
Sheila, can I have 1 second? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, Nirmal, I wanted to ask you in front of everybody. While I was making this book, there were lots of ups and downs, tears, fights, all that. What was the most difficult time that you had, you think, with me while the book was happening?
There's a bunch of difficult times, it's, you all should buy the book to know. Every tuber, every flower and bark and fruit and tree which is there in the book I've eaten, yeah. She would get it home. And I had to eat all of it and give a response. I work in the Western Ghats in Northeast India. I eat everything. But so I think that was one. But on a serious note, both of us are completely, we've come from the same, Goa College of Art, but I went on to do my master's in environment and ecology. So our training diverged over there. Assavri is very creative and impulsive, and her training actually does that. Whereas mine is much more focused and research oriented and more data driven. So there are sparks and clashes over that. And I think that's where the challenge was. But I'm amazingly proud of the result. And I hope all of you all will like it too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for patiently listening to us. Sheila, can I help you with something?
No, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. May I invite Remo? Do you like to come and say something or sing for us? Okay. Okay, we move on to our next and last program, that is Goa is known for its various art forms. Writing is one of them. There's art, there's music, and then there is dance. And the Sattari Bal Vikas Vivah Manch, this is a team of talented folk artists which has performed all over India. They were trained by Dr. Pandurang Gaukar, and they have performed in other countries as well. They use and they perform with Gumat Arti, Marulo, Talgadi, Gofsamay Nrutya, Dekhne Nach, Tashe Dindi Patak, and many other forms as well. This is ground level folk art. This is not something that you easily see on stage. So I do hope you'll enjoy this performance because it's rare. It isn't something that you can easily see. May I call the... May I call the performers on stage, please?
पाणी नट नव रूपानी नटल्या नव रूपानी नटल्या नव दुर्गे माते पाया तडे तुझ्या निवली माझी पेटल्या नव दुर्गे माते पाया तडे तुझ्या निवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या तव कृपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव कृपानी नटल्या तव रूपानी नटल्या माझे आई नव रूपानी नटल्या 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 कामदेवता गोमंत कामाता कामदेवता गोमंत कामाता कामदेवता गोमंत कामाता कामदेवता गोमंत कामाता उलो मल्यार प्रगटती जाता उलो मल्यार प्रगटती जाता कामदेवता गोमंत कामाता कामदेवता गोमंत कामाता उलो मल्यार प्रगटती जाता उलो मल्यार प्रगटती जाता श्रीनाव दुर्गे नमन करिता श्रीनाव दुर्गे नमन करिता श्रीनाव दुर्गे नमन करिता श्रीनाव दुर्गे नमन करिता तव रूपानी नटल्या माझे आई नव रूपानी नटल्या 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 नव दुर्गे माते पाया तडे तुझ्या दिवली माझी पेटल्या नव दुर्गे माते पाया तडे तुझ्या दिवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या तव कृपानी नटल्या माझी आई प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका माये प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका माये प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका चाप्या फुलाची कोच पाकळी चाप्या फुलाची कोच पाकळी चाप्या फुलाची कोच पाकळी चाप्या फुलाची कोच पाकळी आई माळटा तुका माणकोची वाखळी 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 प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका माये प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका माये प्रदक्षिणा घालता तुका तव कृपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव कृपानी नटल्या तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या 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 रथ तुझा माय चौरंगी गाड्याचा 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 रतान मायक बसल्या रतान मायक बसल्या रतान मायक बसल्या रतान मायक बसल्या रथ तुझा माय चौरंगी गाड्याचा 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 रतान मायक बसल्या रतान मायक बसल्या रतान मायक बसल्या रतान मायक बसल्या भांगराय गोय माझ भांगराच्या रूपानं 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 माईक माझ्या नटल्या माईक माझ्या नटल्या माईक माझ्या नटल्या माईक माझ्या नटल्या रतान माईक बसल्या रतान माईक बसल्या तव कृपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव कृपानी नटल्या तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या नव दुर्गेचे शस्त्र ते त्रिशूल नव दुर्गेचे शस्त्र ते त्रिशूल राक्षस मारून सांभाळ तुझे कुळ राक्षस मारून सांभाळ तुझे कुळ पायाकडे तुझ्या पंच प्राण माझ 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 आवय तू माझे हागे तुझे बाळ आवय तू माझे हागे तुझे बाळ आवय आवय तू माझे हाव घे तुझे बाळ
आवय तू माझे हाव घे तुझे बाळ
पायाकडे तुझ्या पंच प्राण माझं
पाया तुझ्या पंच प्राण माझ
आवय तू माझे हाव घे तुझे बाळ
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 हाव घे तुझे बाळ
हाव घे
तुझे बाळ तव कृपानी नटल्या माझे आई नव कृपानी नटल्या
तव रूपाने नटल्या माझे आई नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव दुर्गे माते पाया कडे तुझा ठेवली माझी पेटल्या
नव दुर्गे माझे पायाकडे तुझ्या देवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या
तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या माझे आई नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने
नटल्या नव दुर्गे माते पायाकडे तुझ्या दिवली माझी पेटल्या
नव दुर्गे माझे पायाकडे तुझ्या देवली माझी पेटल्या
दिवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या
दिवली माझी पेटल्या माये दिवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या
दिवली माझी पेटल्या माये दिवली माझी पेटल्या
देवली माझी पेटल्या माये देवली माझी पेटल्या
तव कृपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव कृपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या माझे आई नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपाने
नटल्या नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव
रूपानी नटल्या
काळजाची वात
भक्तीत पेटेत दीपास्तंभ
भक्तीच पेटेत
दीपास्तंभ देहाची दिवली काळजाची वात
देहाची दिवली काळजाची वात
देहाची दिवली काळजाची वात
देहाची दिवली काळजाची वात
भक्तीत पेटेत दीपास्तंभ
भक्तीच पेटेत दीपास्तंभ
भक्तीत पेटेत दीपास्तंभ
भक्तीच पेटेत दीपास्तंभ
दिवलेचे दिवले माय माग पावली
दिवली ती दिवली माय माग पावली
संकटा येता तूच गिरावली
संकटा एक तूच गिरावली
दिवलेचे दिवले माय माग पावली
दिवली ती दिवली माय माग पावली
संकटा येता तूच गिरावली
संकटा एक तूच गिरावली
तूच गिरावली
तूच गिरावली
तूच गिरावली
तूच गिरावली
तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या
तव रूपानी नटल्या माझे आई
नव रूपानी नटल्या नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपानी
नटल्या दया दुधाचं माठ बांधलावे
दया दुधाचं माठ बांधलावे
विद्या सुधामा माटा तुरा फिरी
विद्या सुधामा
माटा तुरा काना पोड रे माट तो जावनी दया दुधाचं काल काना पोड रे माट तो जावनी दया दुधाचं काल कृष्णा भावरे भावरे भक्त तुझा हरायचा कृष्णा भावरे भावरे भक्त तुझा हरायचा कृष्णा भक्त तुझा हरायचा कृष्णा भक्त तुझा हरायचा तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या माझे आई नव रूपानी नटल्या
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 हसत नाचत गे आये श्री नाव दुर्गे अंबाबाई
हसत नाचत गे आई श्री नाम दुर्गे
अंबाबाई हसत नाचत गे आये श्री नाव दुर्गे अंबाबाई
हसत नाचत गे आई श्री नाम दुर्गे
अंबाबाई श्री नाव दुर्गे अंबाबाई
श्री नाम दुर्गे अंबाबाई
श्री नाव दुर्गे अंबाबाई
श्री नाम दुर्गे
अंबाबाई तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या तव रूपानी नटल्या माझी आई नव रूपानी नटल्या नव रूपानी नटल्या
नव रूपानी नटल्या
ला 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 la 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 la. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay.
Bút vậy, bút gì thảo? Bút vậy, एक bút vậy đấy. Thì đây đó. Thảo rồi. Bút chỗ này chứ sao để tôi ăn ăn ăn. Okay, thank you. That's good. That's good. Em có đọc về. Rồi tình là được. Phóng như vậy. Ja, okej. Kom. 사이즈는 너무도 좀 예전
पूरी तरह से ट्रेनिंग किया हुआ हूँ, तो आज भी मेरे को यहाँ पर मौका मिला, ये मेरे सौभाग्य की बात है। और मैं सबको आप सबको धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि आप सब ने यहाँ उसका पूरेपूर फ़ायदा उठाया है। सबके लिए दिल से धन्यवाद बोलता हूँ। ठीक है।